The Israeli army says that 42 rockets have struck so far today, while another 19 were intercepted by the Iron Dome defense system. Frederick Pleiken heard the alarms go off earlier. He's in southern Israel. And here on camera is what happened next.
No, they're telling us to go inside the shop. No, we'll stay here. All right. Seems like something impacted in the distance. Not sure how far away. Okay, the alarm stopped. Okay. Yeah, it's over there. Okay. All right. You think we can get up again? All right.
Well, this gives you a bit of a sense of what life is like for people there in southern Israel when sirens go off. Frederick Pleiken joins me now live from Sderot, Israel, with more. We were hearing from Ben Wiedemann in Gaza just a few minutes ago that the number of aerial attacks on Gaza has been consistent over the last several days. What about southern Israel? Are you seeing many rockets fly from Gaza into that part of the country?
Well, Hala, we've seen a lot of attacks coming from Gaza into Israeli territory throughout the afternoon hours here, but I would say that the intensity might be a little less than we saw yesterday. I believe yesterday was sort of the peaking point, especially the early hours of yesterday morning. However, there were still a lot of rocket attacks, as I said, especially in the afternoon hours. Some of them hit the town of Ashkelon. There were several rockets that were intercepted there. However, there were also two that hit a residential area. No one was hurt in those because, by and large, people, when they hear these rocket sirens go off, they tend to run for cover or they tend to go into shelters, whether in their own homes, whether they lay down outside or go into hardened buildings that are around here. There were also rocket barrages fired into other parts of Israel that sort of surround the Gaza border. We were also caught up in one incident where mortars were actually fired across the wall from Gaza into Israel. So certainly it is still going on. The intensity, I would say, is still quite high. It might be a little less than it was yesterday, but if the objective of the Israeli military is to stop rocket fire coming out of Gaza, certainly does not appear they've achieved that just yet, Hala.
And I want to show viewers some of the video that your crew shot just a few hours ago today, when one of those rockets fired from Gaza into southern Israel was apparently intercepted by the Iron Dome system here. Let's take a look.
An interceptor missile taking off right now. That is the Iron Dome interceptor. Right there, if you just saw the flash in the sky, that was a rocket coming out of Gaza that was just intercepted right now. So it appears as though at this point in time there is another...
Well, so it appears as though, at least on a significant number of these rockets coming from Gaza, Fred, that this Iron Dome is really taking down many of these rockets.
It certainly is. And, you know, the interesting thing about the Iron Dome is that the numbers that you're hearing don't really tell the whole story. What the Israeli Defense Forces and Hamas pretty much themselves are saying as well is that about 900 to 1,000 rockets have been fired out of Gaza, and the Iron Dome system has taken about 300 of those out. So it seems as though it's only gotten about a third of them. But what the Iron Dome actually does is it only takes out rockets that are actually flying towards populated areas, that are flying towards urban centers like Ashkelon, like Ashdod as well. So a lot of those where it detects that it'll land on a field or land somewhere else, it won't even take those out. So it is the case that a substantial number of rockets have indeed been taken out. However, this isn't a foolproof system. This isn't a 100% system. And we have seen rockets land on places like Ashkelon. So one of the things that the authorities here are saying is don't let down your guard. When you hear these sirens, definitely go for cover. It is, of course, a warning that people are still very much heeding. But also, it is no doubt that the Iron Dome has in many ways been a game changer in this conflict and really changed a lot of things here on the ground, and it's having a very, very big impact in all of this, Hala.
And very briefly, I'm seeing cars behind you. I'm seeing people walk on the sidewalk. I mean, what is the sort of the frame of mind that people are in? Certainly it must be tense because they have to run to shelters when the sirens go off. But is life going on more or less as normal?
Well, I mean, that's really hard to say. It certainly isn't going on. It isn't going on as normal. I mean, people try to get sort of a sense of normalcy. People are going out and trying to go out. However, it's much less than it would normally be at this time here in the town of Ashkelon. Also, one of the other things is that many people, of course, are keeping their children inside for pretty much the entire day. Schools are closed here in this area. And if you look at commerce here in this area as well, you go to any mall in Ashkelon, in Beersheba, in other places, you'll find that about 80% of the stores are closed. So it is having quite a large impact. But at the same meantime, people are trying to at least do their best to carry on. Hala.